explain to me, as an ex-pro, how you see Pogba? Because almost just as a fan or someone just watching the game, you kind of think, where is he for most of it? And then all of a sudden, that ball through to Rashford, absolute world class, of course, to set up his second goal. But shouldn't he be doing that more often? Or is that just naive from like a fan's point?
Are we on the August? What are we now? What date's today? August 10th?
August 10th.
August 10th or 11th, whatever it is, and we're on the Pogba.
Just because I think it's just interesting. Do you know what I mean? Just why don't we see more of that from him?
Because this is just a personal opinion. I think Pogba thinks he should be A, playing somewhere else, and B, playing with better players. And I think there is a sense of frustration. You call it maybe arrogance and frustration about that as well.
But,
and so you only see it. You see it now and again, but so when it's good, and when it's not, he gave the ball away quite a lot. But first game of the season.
I want him on my team.
I don't know want him on my team.
Exactly. You know what he's capable of. The problem right now is figuring, is he not producing as consistently as we want because of him, or is it because of the team he's playing in? That's the conundrum I have.
Gab?
No, look, I mean, I think the reality is he's playing in a midfield with McTominay and Pereira, and I'm not having a go at them. They're younger players. They're going to develop, but this is a totally new midfield. It's a totally new front three in terms of the way they lined up with Lingard, Martial through the middle, and he was asked to play in that two in front of the back four, which he did with France on what was a really counter-attacking France. So, I mean, I think to some degree you've got to cut him a tiny bit of slack there. I think Jose Mourinho, though, who was speaking on television here, made a good point, which is, as far as United are concerned, yeah, they excel at counter-attacking, but against a team that sits and stays compact, who's going to unlock them? Can these strikers go and unlock them, unlock the opposing defense, find a way through the way perhaps Lukaku could have, who's got a different body type? And I think that's maybe where we're going to see a different sort of Pogba, where he sees more of the ball against a team that actually sits and sort of invites United forward.
Well, if you think back actually to Gab's point there about the game that I think it was early on in Solskjær's tenure last year, was at Wembley against Tottenham, where Tottenham were pushing and we saw that front line with the pace in behind. That's right up their street. But, as much as you can criticise Lukaku, he did have a physical presence when teams sat deep and you could throw himself about in the box. They haven't quite got that at the moment, and they've gone a different route, and I'm sure it'll have some success for them. I just think, for me, it's a great start for United, but I think good teams and even mediocre teams in the Premier League will give them a game, and that stands for Chelsea.
Lingard and Martial don't help Pogba for me. Because we're expecting Pogba to do all the dirty stuff in the middle of the park, but we expect him to get forward as well. Martial and Lingard, for me, are far too inconsistent and lose the ball too many times. So if you're a guy who's trying to make runs into the box and try and join in, and two of the three strikers are continually, or forget that, he's thinking, are they keeping it or not? Because if he knows they're keeping it, he can make all those runs, and he can make those runs all day. But if he's having to think twice, well, do I go? Because if I go and he loses it again, there's a big hole left. So that's another problem he has to figure out.
The general consensus between everyone was that the top three would be City, Liverpool and Spurs. Did you see enough from United today to suggest that they can close the gap on those?
No.
They just beat Chelsea 4-0.
Yeah, Chelsea are a poor squad at the moment. Yeah. I've got Chelsea in 6. I know people that have got them further down than that.
Yeah.
No, I don't. I think it's nothing else to me than a great start. It wasn't a great performance. They took advantage of Chelsea's inadequacies. Can't even say the word.
No, that's all right.
And no, I don't change anything. I don't have United in the top 4. Not even off the back of that.
We said on Friday, I believe, that this is a strange game. We've got Man United, Chelsea. Normally you're thinking, wow, you had two giants battling it out. And the fact that you're saying, well, does that make United, they're capable of kicking that top 3? Mm-hmm. Really? You can't look at this game and try and draw a parallel with that, because Chelsea was so poor, and actually Manchester United, as far as winning 4-0 was concerned, weren't particularly brilliant. Let's be honest.
I look at Maguire, who's going to have to marshal that back line, which he he's capable of doing now at this tenure in his career. But then I look at the front three and I think very talented, but I'm betting now they're going to be inconsistent.
Right.
And then I look at the midfield and I think that's not going to dominate all the games in there. And I think there's where a lot of the problems are going to lie, particularly in the middle of the park.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.